Hi, welcome to Yoga at the Library. Today we're going to have a class that focuses on stretching and twisting through the upper body. So we'll still get a good full body stretch, but rather than legs like last week, we'll focus a little bit more on the upper body today, getting a good stretch there. So we'll begin on our backs, on our mats. You don't need any props unless you like to have a firm blanket or a towel. But we'll just begin getting down flat onto the floor into our space. Maybe you want to start with knees bent, maybe legs out long feels good. Just noticing what works for you today. And feeling any sensations through the spine that you feel after being upright all day. You might notice a release through the spine. You might notice some tight places. Letting your body be relaxed. It might take a few breaths, using the exhalations especially to release and soften and flatten yourself down into the mat. Let gravity help you. Noticing how the feet feel. Noticing how the hands feel. Noticing how your face feels and whether you're holding any tension in any of these places. And taking a moment to check in with your breath. Taking full deep breaths. Filling the lungs, maybe for the first time all day. And then on your exhales, letting all that stale air out, making plenty of room for fresh. Feeling the belly rise and expand. And then fall and contract on your exhales. And taking a big deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Another big deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking both legs long and both arms up overhead, stretching from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. Maybe getting a yawn in. It's called a good morning stretch for a reason. Then we'll bend the elbows out to the sides, keeping the forearms and the backs of the hands to the floor or towards the floor if you can. And with the knees bent or legs straight, go ahead and slide the elbows and the hands up overhead beyond the top of your mat. And then we'll exhale, hugging those elbows down in towards the body. So we're stretching through the chest here, stretching through the inner biceps. On your exhale, dragging those hands and forearms down, elbows come towards the rib cage. On your inhale, raising them up along the floor, overhead, moving with the breath. Noticing if one arm is tighter than the other. Noticing where you feel stretch, where you feel release. Noticing what you feel, especially in the area of your shoulder blades against the floor. We're getting a little bit of a rolling motion there. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, stretching from the fingertips down to the toes again, and then we'll hug the knees in. Whoop, there goes my water. Hug the knees in, maybe even rounding the tailbone off the floor, the chin towards the knees, rocking from side to side a couple times. We'll release the legs, taking the bottoms of the feet to the floor. Hugging in with the right knee. We can keep the left foot where it is, or we can extend that leg long, making circles with that knee. Noticing whether outward or inward circles feel better. Big or little circles. Go ahead and switch directions. Feeling out the range of motion in this right hip. The hip flexor. Extending the right leg up towards the ceiling. We'll roll out the ankle a couple times. Switching directions, noticing the little bitty muscles and tendons in the ankle that support us all day long. Giving them a little workout, a little stretch. That is novel. It's not something they do for us all the time. Alrighty, and then we'll go ahead and release that right leg, lower it slowly all the way down to the floor. Noticing the difference between the right leg and the left. Temperature, vibration. And we'll hug the left knee in close. And that right leg can stay out long on the mat, or the foot can come to the floor, whatever feels best. Making circles now on the left side. Again, feeling out the hip flexor and the hip on this right, or on the left side. Noticing whether outward or inward circles feel best, big circles or little circles. Switching directions. And bringing that knee back to center. We'll extend the foot up towards the ceiling, holding on behind the thigh, making circles now with the ankle. Feeling out this left ankle. Little muscles and tendons, getting a stretch. Switching directions. We'll hug, actually, we're not hugging, we're extending the foot up towards the ceiling and lowering the leg all the way down to the floor. Bending the knees again. Hugging onto those knees, rolling the tailbone up off the floor, lifting the chin towards the knees, rocking from side to side. We'll bring the bottoms of the feet to the floor. Really close in towards the hips. Pressing into the floor with the feet. On an inhale, we'll lift the hips up towards the ceiling, opening up the front of the body. Exhaling to lower all the way down, adjusting the feet as needed. Inhaling, lifting the hips. We can swing the arms up overhead. And exhaling down, back to the floor. Moving with the breath. Inhaling to lift the hips up. And exhaling to come all the way down. We'll do 2 more. Opening up the front of the body, opening up the shoulders in a different way. Lowering all the way down. And let's go ahead and roll to one side. We'll make our way up into a seated position, giving yourself a moment on your side. And then pressing on up. Sitting here just for a moment in a seated position. We'll take the arms out wide and all the way up. And exhale, hands coming into the heart. Taking the arms out wide and all the way up. Exhaling, hands coming into the heart. One more. I know this is usually how we close class. We're just moving. Exhaling, hands come in. Go ahead and switch ankles. Noticing how your hips and knees feel in this position just for a moment. We'll take the arms out and up and stretch down to one side, reaching up and over. Inhaling to center and exhaling down to the other side. Inhaling up to center and exhaling. We'll do each side one more time. Making your way back up to center. And now we'll come into tabletop. So we'll bring the hands to the floor, bringing the knees underneath the hips. Palms right underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread out wide. And go ahead and tuck your toes today. If you want to pad the knees with another blanket or fold your mat over, that is always an option. We're finding a neutral spine here, so the belly's hugging in. The spine feels long and straight. The neck is neutral, so we're looking down at the floor in between the fingertips. And the tailbone is level with the rest of the spine. Feeling strong here. We'll move into cat and cow. So we'll inhale, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, opening the heart. And exhale, rounding up, tucking the chin in towards the chest, tucking the tailbone. Moving with your breath. Taking any forward, backward, side to side movements that you need. Making our way back to that neutral spine. We'll take the right leg out long behind us, flexing the foot so the toes point straight down, keeping that long neutral spine so the heel back here is level with the hip rather than up high with our belly dropped. We want to be nice and long and straight. The left arm comes out long. Big long line from the fingertips to the heel. Deep breath in. And we'll exhale, lowering on down. Left leg comes out long, flexing the foot so the toes point down. Right arm. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to fold all the way down. We'll switch sides, alternating with the breath. Inhaling to lift and lengthen. And exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lengthen. And exhaling, lowering on down. Keeping that strong core, that neutral spine, moving with your breath. Alrighty, once you feel even, recenter those knees and those hands. We'll take the elbows down to the floor. Palms down. We want to make sure that the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. And here we're going to do that same cat-cow motion, but our elbows are lower, so it's concentrating the stretch and the compression into the upper part of our spine. So we're inhaling, lifting the tailbone, dropping the chest, lifting the chin, and exhale, tucking everything in and rounding up through the back. Feels a little silly, but it's a nice back bend, especially in the upper back and the shoulder blades. A shoulder strengthener, good for the core. Alrighty, and we'll make our way back onto hands and knees. Let's go ahead and come all the way up. So we're just on the knees. Right foot is going to step forward, and we can take that right foot over to the right side of the mat. So we have a nice wide base. We can tuck that back toe or leave the top of the floor to the top of the foot to the floor, whatever feels best. Arms come out wide and all the way up. Checking in with your balance. The higher you lift those left fingertips, the more of a stretch you're going to get through this left hip flexor and the top of the hip on this side. So we're getting a whole side stretch here. Taking care not to let the elbow or the shoulders creep up towards the ears. On your next exhale, let's bring the arms out to shoulder height. And we'll twist to the right. Twisting to the right, keeping our balance. And the left hand comes down to the floor, coming into a big twisting lunge. And here, now that we've got that left hand down to the floor, we can even bend deeper into the right knee, if that feels right to you. Maybe looking up towards the ceiling, looking up towards the right hand, maybe looking down towards the floor for some more balance. And it's fine to have your left hand far over to the left, even off the left side of your mat. Having a big wide base here is how we stay balanced. Alrighty, as if someone is holding on to your right hand and pulling you up. We're gonna come on up. Rotating back to the front. Inhaling the arms all the way up. And then releasing them down. Go ahead and take that right knee back to meet the left. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. So the left foot comes forward, maybe over to the left. Getting your balance, getting your bearings. And the arms come out and up. So we're in a low lunge here. Big stretch through the right side body. The right hip flexor. On an exhale, we'll take the arms out wide at shoulder height and twist to the left, keeping the balance nice and steady. The right hand comes down to the floor, maybe way over to the right side of the mat. Reach up with the left hand. We can shift the hips forward, bending deeper into the left knee, finding a big twist, maybe looking down to the floor. Maybe up towards the left hand. Taking a couple breaths here, feeling how strange breathing feels when you're in one of these weird positions. As if someone's holding onto your left hand and pulling you upwards. We come back upright, rotate back to the front. Arms come out and up. And on the exhale, we release the arms on down, coming back to both knees. And you guys are gonna love this one. It's been a while. We're gonna bring the knees and the feet all the way together and tuck the toes. This might be a good stretch for you. Maybe take the hands down to the floor and play with shifting your hips, your booty back towards your heels. This might be where you're at, and that is just fine. You might be able to come more upright with the upper body. You might be able to sit all the way down on your heels and get a whole lot of pressure through the bottoms of the feet. So finding your stretch here, whether it's here, or here, or here, or here, anywhere in between that you're feeling a big stretch through the knees, the quads, the bottoms of the feet. And here we're going to distract ourselves a little bit. So we'll roll the wrists, switch directions, shake them out. And give yourself a little massage, just kind of squeezing up and down. The wrists gives those little bones that get compressed together with all of our repetitive activities throughout the day. Giving those little bones a little space from one another. Switching sides, giving your other wrist a massage. If at any time this foot or knee stretch becomes too much, you can take a break, coming out of it, coming forward or coming up, but then go back into it. Whatever your stretch is, as long as you're feeling a stretch, you're doing what your body needs. Alrighty, we'll shake out those wrists. Bring the hands back all the way down to the floor and untuck those toes. Gently, gently tap the tops of the feet to the floor. Alrighty. We're going to take let's do a little different stretch. So here we go. We're going to do a different stretch that stretches the tops of the feet rather than the bottoms of the feet. So we're keeping the knees together. We're keeping the feet together. You might be right here. You might be able to shift the booty back towards the heels. If you've got a blanket, it might be nice to put on your calves, on your ankles, between your booty and your heels to get a stretch through those knees and through those quads. Without the distraction of the foot stretch, you might be able to relax into the stretch a little bit more. And this is a good one to be here, wherever you need to be, to feel a good stretch through the knees and the tops of the legs. Hero pose, thunderbolt pose, owl pose. This one's got a lot of names. So we can stay upright here. We can even walk the upper body back, finding your stretch for your body today. You can even lift one knee up and then the other, getting a little bit of an ankle stretch. If you haven't found one yet, this is a good way to take it up a notch, whatever your body needs. Alrighty, we'll make our way back into our tabletop for just a moment. Taking the knees back underneath the hips, and we're tucking the toes. Lifting the knees, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Alternating, pressing one heel and then the other down into the floor. Letting the backs of those knees, letting the hamstrings open up gradually and naturally. Finding your pose. And whenever you find your downward facing dog, being still for 3 breaths. Pressing the heels down into the floor, lifting the tailbone nice and high. Checking with the shoulders, making sure that they're not creeping towards the ears. The arms are long. If at any time you need to take a break, just bringing the knees down, coming back into tabletop. And we'll bend through the knees, taking a walk forward up to the top of the mat, hanging out in a forward fold here. Letting the upper body be heavy. Letting the back of the neck release. Shaking the head, no. Nodding the head, yes. We'll take a deep bend in the knees and roll all the way up to stand. Finding our mountain pose. So for mountain pose, we want the feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. We definitely want them parallel. Kneecaps are pointing in the same direction the feet are pointing. The hips are stable right above the knees. The shoulders are right above the hips. The torso is straight up and down. So we're not sticking the chest out. We're not sticking the booty out. We're straight up and down, nice and tall and strong. Fingertips can shine down towards the floor. The core is strong here. The neck is long. The chin is level with the floor. We'll inhale, take the arms out wide and all the way up, keeping the feet planted, the legs strong. Exhaling, fold forward and bow. Inhaling to lengthen and flatten the spine. Exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out and up. And exhaling, hands come into the heart. That's 1. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling, fold and bow. Inhaling, long, flat spine. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling, coming out and up. And exhale, hands into the heart. We'll do one more just like that. Arms come out and up. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, long, flat spine. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out and up. And we'll exhale the hands down through the heart. Keeping the palms pressed together at the heart. Feeling stillness. Feeling space, especially through the shoulders and the sides of the neck. Alrighty, let's go ahead and interlace the hands behind the back. We can just casually hold the hands behind the back. We can take opposite elbows, whatever feels best to you. If you're feeling extra bendy today, you can try a reverse prayer position. Whatever feels good to you, we're not forcing anything. I'm probably going to go with opposite elbows. Planting the feet a little wide, a little wider than they are for those sun breaths. We'll take some neck rolls. So let's take the right ear to the right shoulder. Carefully rolling. Just this, let's see, front. Gosh, you guys, I said left ear. Taking left ear to the left shoulder, just rolling through this front left quadrant of the neck. Just the chin to the chest, ear to the shoulder. Chin to the chest and ear to the shoulder, just that space. So we're feeling out the back right of the neck. Man, that was a challenge. Hopefully it's worth it. Alrighty, we'll meet with the chin down towards the chest and then switch sides. So this time the right ear comes to the right shoulder. Rolling down with the chin to the chest. Feeling out the back left area of the neck. Checking in with your posture, making sure you're still standing up nice and tall, not slumping into the sensations here. Making sure the knees are still strong and pointing straight forward. And let's swing from ear to ear here. If this feels great, stay here, or we can switch to full neck circles. Opening up the throat, opening up both sides of the neck, the tops of the shoulders. Go ahead and switch directions if you are taking the full circles. And we'll find our way back to center with the chin down towards the chest. And inhale, coming up with the chin level with the floor. Go ahead and release those arms and shake them out. And let's see. Let's go ahead and take a fancy full body stretch. Usually we do this stretch laying down, but we're going to try it standing up. So let's take the left foot cross over to the right side of the right foot. And we're reaching up with the left arm. That right hand can come to the outer leg for a little support. Getting a stretch all the way from the left heel, all the way up through the left fingertips. IT band stretch. hip, top of the pelvis. We'll inhale up, bringing ourselves back upright, disentangling ourselves. And do that same stretch on the other side. So we're taking the right foot off to the left of the left foot. Right hand reaches up and over. Inhaling up to center and untangling the legs. Let's see. So let's stay standing for this part. We're going to take the arms out wide in a T and then take the left arm across. Just doing that old school gym class stretch, pulling the left arm across the chest, getting a stretch through the back. Let's see. Getting a stretch through the outer bicep. Checking in with your posture that you're standing up nice and tall here. Releasing that side. We'll take the arms out wide again and stretch the right arm across. Just pulling gently till you feel a good stretch. Coming back to neutral, shaking out those arms. Alrighty, let's see. Let's come into tree pose. We're gonna balance. So the right foot comes down first and we make a kickstand with the left. That left knee is opening out to the side, so we've got some power in the left glute to open up the inner leg. Hands can come to the heart. Foot can stay on the floor or travel up the inner right leg. If you've got the balance, continuing to breathe, continuing to stand really strong through this whole right side. Maybe taking an arm variation. If you do get those arms up, challenge yourself to press the elbows back so that you can no longer see them in your peripheral vision. Big deep breath in wherever you are, and then we'll exhale to release. Switching over to the left side, making a kickstand with the right foot, power in that right glute. That's a shout out to my brother Treasure, who says, "Put power in your butt." Okay, sorry. I had to do a shout out. We've got our tree pose right here if this feels good, or we can take the foot up the inner leg. The hands can come on up into a variation if that feels right for you. Pressing those elbows back, pressing the arms back, out of your peripheral gaze. Big deep breath in wherever you are. And exhale to come on down. Alrighty, let's come to the very back of the mat. The very back of your mat. Taking the arms out and all the way up. Exhaling to fold forward and bow all the way down. Feeling this big extension through the spine. Let's go ahead and walk the feet a little bit wider, so maybe even as wide as your mat. Keeping a little bend in the knees, we're protecting the hamstrings. We want to feel the stretch through the hamstrings, not the backs of the knees. The hands do not need to be down to the floor here. We're just hanging out.
Let's go ahead and interlace the hands behind the back. We can keep the hands to the back and let the shoulders just kind of hang towards the ears with the help of gravity. So it's like gravity's helping us shrug our shoulders here. And if you've got your hands interlaced, see how straight you can get your arms. So we're not dislocating our shoulders, we're just straightening the arms, lifting the shoulders away from the ears so they just were all the way towards the ears, slumping and shrugging towards the ears. And now we're lengthening those arms up towards the ceiling, extending the shoulders away from the ears. Big deep breath in here. And on your exhale, get even softer through your spine. We'll go ahead and bend those elbows, bringing the hands back to the low back. Release the hands and let them fall towards the floor. Just towards the floor, not necessarily to the floor. Inhale for a nice long flat spine. And exhale all the way down. We'll bend the knees, taking the hands down, and walk the hands towards the top of the mat. Knees come down. Sorry, I had a sneeze false alarm. So here we are in our tabletop. We're going to take the knees wide and the big toes together, coming all the way down into child's pose. This is our first child's pose of the class. So here we're letting gravity open up the hips. We're letting gravity lengthen the spine, the forehead, and the tailbone. Our low down towards the floor, separating each vertebrae, especially in the lower back where we're used to having a certain kind of curve that I can't think of, lordosis, I think. And this stretches the spine in the opposite way, so it's really, really nice for that lower spine. Let's walk the hands over to the right side, stretching the arms long, gripping the floor with the fingertips. Walking back through center. Hands come over to the left side, gripping the floor on the left side of the mat. Stretching through the right side body. And coming back to center. We'll make our way up onto our bellies. However you want to get there. So coming down onto the bellies, let's take the chin down to the mat. The arms out alongside the body. So the arms are on the mat. The tops of the feet are to the mat. Nice and long. We're going to come into locust pose. So we'll inhale, lifting the eyes. Lifting the chin, the chest, the shoulders, the hands, and the feet. Exhale to lower all the way down. Lifting the eyes, the chin, the chest, the shoulders, the hands, and the feet. A little bit higher this time. And exhaling all the way down. We'll do that once more. Lifting the eyes, the chin, the chest, the shoulders, the hands, the feet. And exhaling all the way down. Bringing the hands to the floor on either side of the shoulders and pressing on up. We'll come to a seated position. In a seated position might be legs bent, if this is most comfortable for you. It might be ankles crossed. It might be something a lot more advanced than I can do. Whatever you feel good about sitting on your seat. You can also fold a blanket or a towel and put it under your booty, lifting the hips up, taking some of the angles out of the knees and hips. So we're sitting, however you sit. You can even do this in a chair as long as you sit to the very, very, very front of the chair. So you have plenty of room behind you. Bringing the hands into the heart. Taking a big, deep breath in. Exhaling, interlacing the hands, pressing the palms forward and rounding back. Inhaling, palms up. Exhaling, hands reach back and interlace. Inhale, opening the heart, lifting the hands, lifting the chin. And exhaling, hands come into center. Deep breath in. Exhaling, palms press forward. Inhaling, palms up. Exhaling, hands reaching back. Interlacing to open up the heart. And exhaling, hands come into center. Deep breath in. Exhaling, rounding back, stretching the palms forward. Inhaling up. And exhaling, hands come back and interlace if they can. Inhaling to lift the chin, lift the hands, open the heart. And we'll exhale, bringing the hands back to center. Sitting up nice and tall, pressing the palms into one another. Feeling the breath. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and, if you are not facing the long side of your mat, go ahead and orient yourself so you're in the middle of the mat, long ways. We're going to make our way down to our backs. So we want to start with the heels to the floor, the hands behind the knees. We're going to find our boat pose, but we're going to ease our way into it. So for boat pose, we want to make sure that the heart is lifted, the low back is not rounding down into the floor. So we want to keep the heart and the low back lifting up. We can stay right here for our boat pose. This is a perfectly acceptable boat pose. It's a lot of power through the whole front of the body. You can lift the shins up so they're parallel with the floor, keeping the low back and the heart lifted. You can release the hands and extend the arms long, keeping the heart and the low back lifted. You can even straighten your legs if you are very, very powerful through your core. Big deep breath in wherever you are, and then we'll come back to the feet down. Maybe a little slump forward, letting the spine round. We're going to do that 2 more times. Whatever your boat is, you get a chance to do it 2 more times. Coming with the heels down. Maybe hands are below, or maybe hands are to the backs of the knees. Maybe shins are level with the floor. Maybe arms are extended, maybe legs are extended, finding your pose here. Big deep breath in wherever you are, and then we'll lower on down. Rounding through the spine. Alrighty, this is our last one, and at the end of this one, we're coming onto our backs. So finding your boat. Making your way in, keeping that low back lifted, keeping the heart lifted, strong through the whole front body. Big deep breath in, and on your exhale, we're lowering all the way down. Lowering the legs down, the upper body, finding yourself flat on your mat. Let's go ahead and take
the elbows to the floor. The fingertips are pointing up towards the ceiling. The bottoms of the feet to the floor, so we're bending the knees. We'll press into the feet to lift the hips, press into the elbows to lift the heart towards the chin, and then lower on down. One more like that, pressing into the feet to lift the hips, pressing into the elbows to lift the heart towards the chin, lowering all the way down. Alrighty, nobody freak out. We're just going to do the hands here. So, we're going to take our hands to the floor on either side of our head. So the fingertips are pointing back towards your body. The palms maybe make it down to the floor. Maybe you're up on your fingertips, and that's just fine. The wrists are pointing in the same direction the top of your head is pointing. The feet are to the floor. We're just getting a gentle stretch through the inner arms here. We're not doing anything crazy. We're not coming up into wheel pose. Absolutely not. We're just getting a little different arm stretch than what we've been getting so far in our yoga class. So with the hands right here, let's let those knees fall over to one side. Inhaling them up to center and exhaling, they fall down to the other side. Inhaling up to center, moving with your breath. Stabilizing the upper body with your hands against the floor and twisting through your lower body. Just gently. And coming back to center, releasing that arm position, taking the arms just comfortably to the floor. Let's cross the left ankle over the right knee. Maybe finding a figure four position, or definitely finding a figure four position that works for you. Maybe today that's pressing that left knee away from the body. Maybe that feels great. This is where I'm at today. Maybe holding on behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin. The closer your left ankle is to your face, the more intense of a stretch you're going to get. So just finding your stretch, breathing here into your left hip. And carefully we'll uncross the legs, bringing both feet down to the floor. And we'll find that figure four stretch on the other side. So taking the left ankle across, taking the right ankle across the left knee, maybe just pressing the knee away, maybe holding on behind the thigh or in front of the shin, finding your yoga pose here. Noticing where you feel the stretches you're feeling. You feel them in the low back, feel them through the arms, or just in that right hip area. Releasing the knee, uncrossing the legs, bottoms of the feet come on down to the floor. And let's see. There was one, oh, that thing, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so this is kind of a strange stretch. We're gonna get ourselves into it. So we're taking the bottoms of the feet to the floor, knees fall out wide. We can stay right here if this feels great. We can also get a pretty cool shoulder stretch. I will show you how. We can take the hands down to the shins or interlace them around the feet if that's available to you. Around the shins is feeling good to me today. And then the weight of the legs can pull the arms long, pull the shoulders away from the ears, relax those shoulders. You feel a nice stretch at the base of the neck on both sides. I do not know what this stretch is called, but it is a great one for our times, where everyone's shoulders seem to be creeping up towards their ears. We'll release the feet or the ankles or the shins, wherever you're at. Taking the bottoms of the feet to the floor, or taking the legs out long, or taking whatever final movements you need to make before you relax in your final pose. Feeling your body get nice and heavy, flat, soft into the floor. Feeling the heaviness of the feet, maybe the heels pressing into the floor, the lower legs, the lightness behind the knees, the heaviness of your thighs, your femur bones, your pelvis, and your hip bones. Feeling the natural curves of your spine. Allowing the belly to be soft. The shoulder blades are flat against the floor. The chest is open. The arms are heavy and soft. The face is smooth. The head is heavy. Just breathing regularly here for a minute or two, not dwelling for too long on any thought that might arise. Using the exhalations to soften through any part of your body that starts to tense or tighten. Just using the breath to stay soft. Begin to deepen your breath. Taking little movements through the fingers and the toes. Rolling out the wrists and the ankles. Getting yourself a yawn if you need to. And we'll bend both knees and roll over to one side. Using the arms to gently press on up into a seated position. Sitting nice and tall, rooting evenly through both sit bones. We'll bring the palms together at the heart. Then we'll close with our 3 deep breaths. Taking the arms out wide, a big deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands come into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Hands come into the heart. And a big deep breath in for ourselves. Hands come into the heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If this is your first time or your 50th time, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Namaste.